Hi everyone, I'm Achinta S. McDaniel, and this is Blue13's Playdate. Today I'm joined by some gorgeous, amazing, fantastic 2024 cohort of players, as I call them, or Playdaters, who are our amazing cohort that are from around the country and near and far and internationally to make work and play with each other in this amazing space here at Peter in Northeast LA. So welcome everyone. I'm also joined by my Associate Director of Blue13 Dance Company, John Paul here, who we've helped kind of co-moderating with us, and two beautiful dancers that are in some of the works are here. They're off camera, they're feeling shy right now, but we might have to crash in a moment. So the point of today is to sort of underline the idea that we're not just here to play and make work in an incubator. Yes, of course, the dance is important to us, but hugely important to this project for Blue13, to the field at large, and I think to all of us as dance makers, is the conversation, right? The discourse, the dialogue that is so important when we are tackling subjects that are sensitive, that are difficult, that are sometimes unexplored, that have had predecessors that have been trying to make work in the field to advance the visibility of AAPINH makers and see more of us on stage, in shared spaces, in ciphers, like in the community, really making work. So today we're gonna kind of just dive into the rabbit hole. But before we do that, let's have our players introduce themselves. Just tell us your first and last name, maybe your pronouns, where you're from, why you're here. What made you apply to the Playdate residency? And I'm gonna start with you. Go ahead and say your name.
Hi everyone, my name is Jared Farcone. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from New York. And I'm so excited to be here in LA, just playing, as we keep saying, playing and exploring and just finding new language and how to collaborate, because that's really about what art in our age right now is about, how we collaborate and make something meaningful and build everyone up together. And I'm just have been really excited to work with Z, and just being in the space with new energy, because that's what I wanted, is new energy, and also to be inspired. And over this past week and a half, I just learned so much, and kind of rekindling that fire, that why I love dance and art.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. So I'm going to put you on the spot before we move on. No, can you explain to some of the people that are tuning in or tuning in later will wonder, like, what is Playdate? So when you talk about being here for the collaboration and that's why, what are you doing here? Like, what do we do during Playdate?
So, first day, they were just like, we kind of learned each other's language and movements and how each person kind of thinks and moves, and you kind of gave us the freedom to kind of just do what you want. There's no like, it has to be 10 minutes or 15.
Right.
There's not a lot of restrictions. This is just a space for us to create and just do anything we kind of want, and it didn't have to be, this is the thing, it has to be a perfect pace, 10 minutes.
Right.
It could be 1 minute, it could be 20 minutes, it could be sections. So it's a work in progress. And then, so we have 2 weeks, and we take turns in sharing the space, or one section we'll have in the morning, one will be in the afternoon, and then we'll also have talks in between, so we're learning from people in the industry. And then at the end we have a showing or 2 showings, just showing what we work on, and hopefully it will keep expanding, and each year it just gets better and better. This is like an amazing experience so far, and yeah.
Thank you, Jared. Sorry, put you on the spot.
No, that's good.
But yeah, these players are amazing. This is the second year, like I said, and what basically happens is that they're matched with each other, probably have not known each other before, or if they have, never had worked together or created anything together. So it's sort of a risky, fun way for us to dive in. They teach workshops, so we learn that movement dialect in the beginning, and they continue to talk and sort of talk to some of our thought leaders in town. Who is going next, Jared?
Ooh.
Should we just go down the line?
Joe.
Hello, my name is Cho. I'm from South Korea, and she, her pronouns. I'm here to immerse myself in like LA community. I graduated from Cal Arts, but I feel I consider myself as a new artist here. So I tried. I wanted to meet more people, finding network, and also get inspired by this amazing artists and learn new things. And I am learning a lot of things and getting inspired at the moment. Nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm Paul. I'm from Jersey, kind of like around the East Coast these days, and I'm here to hang out.
He's not even one of the residents now.
I don't even go here.
Who are you?
I just work
You
here.
just walked in.
Just work here. I'm here to hang out and to make stuff with those people.
Yeah. What made you apply? Like, what struck you? Was there a keyword or two things, or what made you apply?
I hate to say that. I just keep saying to hang out. I really like. There's a part of like of meeting new, being in a setting where you can just like meet new people.
Yeah.
And, like make stuff together or just share space together. Maybe not even making stuff. Maybe just interacting.
Yeah.
More often with like a set goal or like a purpose or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really nice. I pursue that a lot. I think more now these days.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Juhan Yang. I come from China and also graduate from Cal Arts in choreography major. She, her pronouns. Why I applied for Playdate because my friend Toki, she did the last year one, and I went to the final show. I really like it, and I believe I can learn a lot and have more inspiration. The whole 2 weeks creating process, and also I know we will be pairing with another choreographer. So I guess I really want to know how other choreographer work in the process for creating new piece, and I really wish I can always have more inspiration around me to keep my motivation going to create more. And also I really appreciate so far I think everyone is really nice, kind, and also all our dancers are really nice to work with. So in the process, every day when I wake up, I feel so happy because I'm gonna create today in this space, and we're gonna really play in the play day. So we try a lot of different things, and our idea just like popcorn, pop every day. So it's really amazing. Yeah.
I mean, just peeking in and out from our side, from Blue13 side, just to support and watching the things that are happening are so incredible. We hope all of you who are out there, if you're out of town, fly in this weekend so you can see the works in progress that they're making. They're this Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. on Friday and 7 p.m. on Saturday. Come and check out a nice informal showing. You might sit on this carpet where the players sit. Yeah, and the space is just gorgeous. So it's really lovely to be here. Speaking of that, can you, so we can go down the line here too, that who are paired with one another? So Z, you're paired with?
Sure.
Okay, so that's our first pairing, and then obviously Joe and Paul are our second pairing. Z, can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, what are you doing? Are you making a lectin? Are you making a dance work? Is it a work round? Just tell us about what you are collaborating and kind of creating together with Jared. Tell us a little bit about the piece, and then if you could both talk about the process with working with one another as collaborators.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is at the very beginning when we trying to pair with each other, we just talked our idea, like what you want to do, what the thing you want to express. So for me, I kind of want to talk about our relationship between each other, like different people from different background, also to think about what's our relationship with this whole world or the universe. And also Jared also proposed something about tarot card or something we just want to try to find kind of a little bit connection between. And also because I bring 3 dancers and I only know 2 of them, and for the rest 4, we just try different things, workshops, talks, and to have a better idea to get to know each other. And also, so sometimes I bring my own idea, but I also inspired by others, like 6 dancers movement, different textures, different qualities, and we just sometimes go from there, and also still keep our own idea, like how we can both present them clearly in the space. Yeah.
So 6 dancers.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
6
6
dancers.
And are both of you dancing too? Or not?
No.
You're just, okay.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
some of
Maybe.
yeah.
Surprise! No. So that's how kind of we made the pairing was 3 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Joe and Paul had 1 and 1, so that's how we kind of worked out. And also we were kind of going to mix the coasts, because otherwise it would have been me and Paul east against the west coast.
Oh, yeah.
Which could have been cool too. We were happy with any type of match, but that's how we kind of decided to match.
Okay.
But working with Joe has been
Z.
amazing. I meant Z. So. I'm running on. Psych.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Tell us why you're running on fumes. You literally, can I say that right before we started this? Jared was just racing and sliding on socks to turn off the camera because they were rehearsing with their beautiful dancers in space, and shut it off just in seconds to like hat dry and do this talking
Yeah.
time. So understandable.
Yeah,
But tell
with
us, working with Z.
Has been amazing because we have different background, and Z was like, oh, I can use a little bit more of my partnering skills. So we've been meshing with that. So I'm adding more partnering, and also I love how she wanted to get to know the dancers first, because a lot of choreographers kind of just, okay, here's my movement, let's go. Here it is, which is fine too. That's just a way, but also I haven't seen a lot of, okay, let me see how you move first, and then finding that middle ground. And then also, we kind of just been doing like flow things. She'll go, then I'll go, and then today we decided, I proposed the idea, let's make a face together popcorn. You go, and then I make a move, and then you go. So then we kind of like meshed, whether it like meshed or clashed, but so we made a phrase at the end, so it was like a shared language. And then also using some like things from the whole piece, adding, so it kind of like ties everything together. So that was what we were working on. I think one of the challenges is sometimes the dancers will have conflicts. So let's working with that, but also like honing in, oh, if this person's not here, maybe we can use that in the piece. What happens?
Yeah, what happens if it doesn't come alive?
Yeah, or do they just kind of stay?
Nice.
So that's also just playing with that.
Yeah, so basically like making the best out of that challenge.
Yeah.
Sometimes something beautiful happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
By what happens in the space. Being open
Yeah.
and leaning in.
Nice. Love that. Thank you both. And I'd love to hear from our second pairing. Maybe we'll start with you, Paul. What are y'all making, and what can we expect to see, and how's the process been for both of you?
We're making a duet. Yeah, we started off like, we didn't really do that much moving on like the first day. We feel like it's, the two of us both work very much like in collaboration with the dancers that we work with. And they are as much a part of it and a part of the creation as we are in a way. But if we made it with other people, it would be different. So that is really important, I think, for us to really, really get to know them and how they move and what their tendencies are, what their opinions are about things, and for them to be as equally vocal and honest as we are with them. So we kind of spent the first day just like a lot of talking and like some movement, but a lot of fun. Yeah.
A little research.
Yeah. Like sometimes you go down like rabbit trails and just start talking about like your favorite TV shows or like something funny that happened to you last week. But like that is valuable information, I feel like, to us and to everyone else, to just get to know each other and feel more comfortable with each other. as well as like getting to know everyone's personalities, I think. What else?
So what's it gonna be? We know it's a duet.
Yeah.
How many dancers? Just kidding.
One. May
It's
shock me.
very avant-garde. It's a duet. No. What's it like, Joe?
It's a duet. We have working. Can I
Yeah.
expose that working?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the working title is Heaven Spot, and we were thinking idea of like a place almost impossible to reach. We were working with that idea, but actually, to be honest, it came a little bit later. Like Paul mentioned already, like I work very collaboratively with the dancers, and I'm really interested in intuition. So first, like that's why I have to talk with them a lot to learn about their personality, but also like how they move. It allows me to like understand like what they want to try to say through their body movement. So we did that for a couple of days to just observe what they want to say with their body physical language. Then we start like shaping ideas, and then we feel that like this Heaven Spot came to. I mean, Paul told me like about this Heaven Spot story from graffiti community, and then I thought like it just like suits our piece, because the dancers like really like their movement quality is something like a human, but also non-human, and also like a little bit quirky and weird, and then they also push really far when they move. They're not like, they don't have fear, and then they just go for it, and then like keep pushing their own boundary, own limitation, and we thought it just suits our process. Wow. If you can add that more to like about Heaven Spot.
I was thinking about it because there's this graffiti artist in like New Jersey, and you're gonna remember him. You know, you ever see like PK Kid on like, or like Kid or PK on like a graffiti. Yeah, so that is very famous on the East Coast, and you see them everywhere, usually on like water towers and like the back of billboards.
Yeah.
And those are called Heaven Spots because they're like places that are like difficult to get to, like because you like look at it on the side of the water, like how do you get them out there? And they're called that because they're difficult to get to. Some people say they're called that because it's like we looked this up too, because I only knew it's like, oh, it's just difficult to get to, but it's another saying is like, oh, it's because if you were to fall from there, you go straight to heaven.
Right. That's what my first instinct was. Like, oh, you could die if you do that.
Yeah. It's not really just peace to say. Yeah, just like some place.
A difficult to reach place, and
Nice.
And so I was like talking to my sister about it, because like it's just very iconic to like Jersey, New York, Philly kind of area. And you see it and you're like, oh yeah, like I know,
Like train tracks. Like, whoa, how'd they get?
Yeah, exactly. And then she was like, oh, that's like a really interesting set of words. And then so I was rabbit trailing during rehearsal, just like talking about it. And we were like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like, what does that make you think? If you didn't know the context of it, what does it make you think of?
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Gotcha.
Yeah, also like after we came up with working title, then we started to like really shaping more, because in the first few rehearsals, I think it was just like on surface level, like just trying to see what's happening. But once we having more clear ideas, because like dancers have like, often they have tendency of like, it depends on their mood or emotional state. I think they have like tendency of like moving in certain ways.
Yeah.
Then once we take that, I think also with this idea, we try to give them like the word that didn't explain what the meaning was. But then like, okay, when we create, as we go on, let's keep that in mind, but let's figure out like with the physical movement and like trying to like understand with the words, like a definition. Yeah, and then the next day we explain like what they mean. And we also like created more
With that.
Yeah, with that.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I love that idea of like using vocabulary and innate kind of movement signatures. It sounds like you all are kind of doing that, and this is like what the movement signatures are, and then how that can elicit a conversation on the response. I'm so intrigued and impressed that you have so much material already. And I haven't seen all the I'm waiting until tomorrow Greg is like, watch a little bit more, but it's it's been really exciting. This is just briefly, and I just maybe like one or two you could answer. What about being in LA for Playdate has been exciting or separates it from maybe a different experience choreographically or in residency? Sure.
So as an international here, it's ironic that like I feel more that I'm embraced in this country or in this community, except like my status situation, like legal situation, but like with my art or with my identity, I feel I'm more welcome here. Although like as a like international like female artist, of course there are like certain struggles, but like in my home country, like nobody liked my artwork because I'm like too different than what they were doing. So I'm really appreciating like how people are open-minded here and then trying to just like accept as who I am and then try to appreciate like different doesn't mean wrong here. I really like that part. Also like this space is amazing, like it's beautiful. I love coming here every day. I feel very luxurious. And also like I get to like come here and explore the neighborhood, like that also part of it, but mostly just like being like, for example, I suggest a lot of things in the poem, just like let's do it, like never say no, just like always like yes, and then let's just try. Even though like when I want to give up, it's just like okay, let's not give up, like let's keep trying. Like I really because sometimes it's hard to work as like two main directors, but like I really appreciate how Paul like just tries to be open-minded and help me to create my vision, like transfer my vision into life.
That's great.
You have good ideas. It's pretty easy to
say
why say no?
Does anyone else want to talk about the LA experience or from the other partnership, or just about the collaboration and how that's been, and like, because we talked about it earlier in the beginning of how there could be some trepidatious kind of thinking when it comes to like, oh no, I don't know this person. Like anything more on that, or LA, or either of you?
I think for me, it's I've never got to choreograph in LA, so that's also a first thing. Like this is my first thing I'm doing in LA, showing my work like live, and it's definitely, of course, different than New York, different coasts. Even like dance is kind of different in both coasts. Like in ways, there's different priorities. I come from a very concerty background, and it's different because I feel like in LA, it's a lot of things are more spread out, so you can like kind of like breathe a little bit and kind of be inspired by the beautiful weather. Because in New York, you can have rain and then snow, and then so even just here, it's like the sun, and just for me, it's like changing of scenery is important too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just get so trapped in the same studio or the same city. That's why I love traveling. Just to keep exploring the different, because like there's art everywhere. Like when you drive, when I don't know, something on the street, or it's just different energy too, just in the air and everything. So it's different, just getting different inspiration, and that's kind of why I came as well too. Was just to expand and just change of scenery, because sometimes you need those once in a while. You know how
Quick
a little
jolt.
jump start.
Yeah. Well, some of the meat of the residency materials when you were applying. I'm not like checking my Instagram. These are my notes. I'm just on Instagram. No, we're asking questions like abide being or like sort of quick central guideline that the company leads. In what ways, as artists in particular, that's what I'm most interested in these conversations. I feel like in our field we have there's a real issue that we have constantly, funders, presenters, gatekeepers having conversations about what's best for the community and conversations about what's best for the artists. And rarely centered in any of these at booking conferences, wherever we are the artists' conversations, right? I just said it to John Paul yesterday, I'm like, well, if we're always being asked, like, who's the community that you serve? What do they need? Let's find out what the community needs and then we'll serve that. That's what all the big organizations, everybody wants to do that. And I was like, well, the artists are the ones that are literally the community, the spokespeople through your work about what is needed. Like we are screaming what is needed by what we make, right? Because we're the members of the community that are the brave ones that are making it work. We're the ones that want to create change, change. So to me, I find it wild that we rarely have spaces in which the artists are centered in these conversations, and that's why it becomes sometimes difficult to talk about it, especially as dancers when we use our bodies instead of speaking a lot, right? So I wonder for you all, when it comes to things like AAPINH, which is our access inclusion principle, how does that, you wrote about it so beautifully in your materials, how does that sort of come to the fore when you're thinking about the work or when we've been in conversation with each other here for this now almost 10 days, right? How does that come up for you? Things like equity, the conversations we've had with some of our thought partners and leaders here in LA, questions of like being seen, right? Having funding, like, as opposed to without centering our white counterparts, but like in opposition to that, like what do we need? Like what do you need as artists? How can more residency work like this come up? Like, what can we do to lift all boats? What are things that you're thinking from this like equity standpoint and who you are and your communities? That's a lot of questions here. And we can trip over our words, you know what I mean? Like it's fine for us to improv our answers. We don't have to have it preset. Yeah, that was, we're trying to figure it out together. Dancers, please feel free to also chime in if you want. We'll bring you into camera if you want.
I'm hesitant to say it's just money because it's not, but like that's a large driving force of what support looks like.
Yep.
On the side of the world, like and that's definitely a big part of it. So like where funding is coming from, or where that kind of support, whether it's like monetary or not, like who's it coming from, where's it coming from, how do we like make sure that like where it's being help or support is being provided from is like a place. I don't want to say like genuine, but like it's like it's not fake. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's inside joke. Sorry. It's not like that by accepting that support, you're not in turn supporting something that you don't know or being implicitly involved in something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So exactly. Identifying those sources. Is it just more of the same? That's like a performative thing that they're handing out the money to the Asians now.
Yeah.
Can it be problematic? Which is a great way of thinking. So many institutions are like, well, I'm going to still keep getting the money and I'll ignore all the microaggressions that are coming out of this person's mouth. So, and then on a larger scale, be like really institutionally damaging things that a certain funding source can be doing. Yeah. Or, that's what, taking really great care of who the collaborators are is important. I think we do that naturally as artists, but it's a little tricky, right, when it's coming to money because you need it. So what I'm hearing, Paul, is that money is something that our community needs, but also to know us and respect us and value us.
Yeah.
Right?
And part of it also, like, as important as that, as doing those things the right way is, like, there's also another aspect of, like, I'm not trying to, like, play the system, you know what I mean? But, like, if one has spent a certain amount of time having to, like, not, like, shortcuts, but, like, make your own path in a way, in a different way, and then now you have like more opportunity, or someone is offering a lot of support or something, and so like how much do you play the game and how much do you not? When do you put your foot down and go, like, actually this isn't the right thing to play the game, I'm not gonna do it. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like I answered a question with like a question.
No, which is great. As other artists, like, just let's kind of grapple with it together. Z or Ch? Any thoughts on that? Like even except like things that you're applying for. Like what's the struggle? Like what do you need, and how do you decide kind of next steps and who you're going to work with, and how does your identity and where you come from and your ancestry and all of that either harm your chances for those things, or do you feel like you have to tweak things to fit a certain brand, or what do you think?
I think, okay, so for what I need first I really need space.
Space.
Yeah, so all the big ideas, they consist of small things. So the first, we need money, budget, and second, the space is really important. So this is my first residency in this year, and also this is the first biggest place I have in this year. So sometimes I'm very struggle with the space because sometimes I cannot create at home because we really have the space to move, to try different things, to run, to maybe something be crazy. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. Sure.
I feel like I need a community.
Community.
Yeah, because like I'm not from here, and some like people have been suggesting me like maybe look for like Korean like community. Maybe they can offer me some opportunity as a choreographer or dancer, like because it's my people. Like I want help, kind of thing. So like this residency is like a little bit special like residency for me because like most of the time it's like you go there by yourself and you work by yourself. But here you have your cohort and then you get to like work together, and it's not about just making the piece, but it's about like meeting Paul, meeting Jared, or meeting Jihan, and then even though they're from East Coast, but still like I feel like we've been here like 2 weeks, like intense like amount of time together. Even this short period, I feel like it's enough time for us to just like build a connection and feel like I belong to somewhere, and that's really supportive. And all of that, like money, of course, space is very like also my top two like priority. But also I feel like also not even just the choreographers, but I get to meet like dancer or the hip hop or I haven't like been able to like mingle a lot with their dancers, but I feel like still like make it an acquaintance. So whenever I go to different places, I know them now. Because I didn't grow up here, so I feel like I still need to like meet more people. But sometimes like I'm like a little bit shy and I don't actively make friends or find like community. But this sort of like not forcing me, but like this like like to work with somebody and to like to learn from each other and to teach class like in front of people that I don't know well. But like of course there was this vulnerability, but once you break through that, I feel like more comfortable being in this space with these people. So I think like what I need is community as well.
That's what we're doing. Right? We're doing it together. That's smart. That's amazing. That's really thoughtful. Thank you.
I don't mean to interrupt. It looks like we have a question possibly from one of our viewers.
Yes, we got a question in the chat, which actually goes right along with what we were just talking about. Brian asks, is this type of program common from what you all have seen, or is it more unique?
Maybe Jared.
Sure. I think it's very unique within itself as just even the pairings. Because sometimes a lot of residencies are, okay, here, and you have all the things, and it's just you.
Right.
You don't have another collaborator that you don't know or you know. Because I think a lot of people also, it's a hard skill to have too, because it's kind of like a relationship, like a work relationship, trying to work together, because sometimes it's a hard skill to have, and I think it's very unique, and especially just having the full exploration and freedom to bring as many dancers as you want, as whatever you can do, and you have the time. It's also space, time, and then for me, I was going to add to the previous question is, for me, it was hard finding dancers. So once you have the space, the time, the funding, then it's finding dancers, because I wasn't from here. I kind of know a lot of people, and I try and text, and it's like people are doing this, they're away, they're in school, or they're in summer, they're not here. So for me, I didn't know any of my dancers that I brought, so that was another experience. It was really interesting, which is wild, which is cool. So finding dancers, and then also because I want to support myself, but also support the dancers.
Sure.
Because it's really, I really want to care for the dancers, because I know what it is like, because we're all dancers, and we know what it was like to perform, be in companies, like, making work. It's like, you sacrifice, of course, but you really want to give as much as you can back, because nothing's free. And we have to survive. That's what we talked about in one of the lunches, was we have to, of course, survive, but we also do it because we love it. So, of course, there's always some sacrifice that we have to give, but I always try to do as much as I can to support the dancers, because I am a dancer. We're all dancers, and we know how it is. It's really hard.
I always feel like that's the role, whether we're in live work, community center, on stage, in a film, we sort of end up taking this caretaker role. And speaking of caretakers, moms and dads and parents always force kids together and play dates, right? So that to me, when Joel was like, not forced, and I was like, no, we were forcing to do this, right? But that's the point of that. One of the main points for me in some of this conversation that's come up these past couple of weeks, and that we have a lot of, we're not the only ones having these conversations centered around Asianness and Americanness and contemporaneity. There's incredible resources out there, like Gold Standard Arts Foundation, and Phil Chan's work before that with Final Out for Yellowface, with Western Arts Alliance, hyphen Asian group. There's plenty of things out there, and I really am just passionate. We all are here about connecting all of us, right? And hearing each other's voices and helping each other out. And that's the thing, we feel this intense what's the word? Protectiveness about our dancers, right? And then our identities and the ways in which we were raised or where we came from are so precious and important to us. But I feel personally that I just am also constantly fighting a battle of these forms have to remain fixed for life. You are never allowed to do anything else. And then as an Asian or Asian American, you are never allowed to do more than one thing. And on top of that is this wicked scarcity myth, right? And so scarcity myth, we're meaning there can only be one, so we have to compete with each other as Asians, right? We can only have one of us, and that's all. So now sort of forcing, jokingly, about this Playdate thing. Can you talk, any of you or all of you, women, a little bit about what you've come up against or things that have come up in the residency about scarcity, about competition, limited resources historically, and how that's come up, and then maybe some coalition building or solution-based kind of thinking of how do we meet those challenges. Yes, and we have a dancer. Come on in. Come in, a dancer would like to talk about it. Make some room. Scooch in, let's see if we can see you. Yeah.
Come on.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm one of Zion and Jared's piece. I'm a dancer for their collaborative piece, and I just wanted to speak on your question, and it kind of relates to, or is a response to what Paul said in terms of money and resources in general. Is I just thought that there are two sides of that concept. I think there is the good side and potentially a bad side, which I totally support of having art becoming accessible to every community, and having everyone to feel capable to create something, and so that is important. It's just that I feel like sometimes people tend to fall into this thought trap of money is the number one priority. Without money, we cannot do anything, and that seemed a little bit illogical to me, because I feel like art is something that art's number one priority is the appreciation for it and loving it and hence, which is why we're all doing it, risking the fact that we may become one of those starving artists or like being lacking of our incomes. It's because we love the art form, no matter how much money we will potentially make. And so, okay, so as we start off with that appreciation and other people as viewers understanding that appreciation, we form the connection within that, and then the money follows. So like in terms of being genuine or investing money or giving donations, I think the reason why it becomes genuine is because they also appreciate the art that we make. So it's not like being performative, like, oh, I want to support this Asian American community, so I feel like I'm going to be a good person. Rather than that, it's like, I am willing to support you because I appreciate what you do. And so I think that's where the money comes in as the genuine support that you're talking about. And so, I mean, we're constantly struggling with the lack of resources. I am too. And sometimes there are times where I'm just really frustrated by that. However, it dawned on me thinking like art shouldn't be really restricted to that. Like people being like, you should have all these resources in order to create art. I feel like, and every moment, in any moment, you can always have the opportunity to realize that you can make art in any moment, or realize what art is in any moment you're living in. I know it kind of sounds abstract, but
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. For example, there are times when I see some scenery and something feels a little different than normally. Maybe that can be an example. It's I'm trying my best to articulate it.
No, it makes sense. I think part of that's the conundrum too, is that there are people who exploit that.
Yeah.
Exploit the fact that we're artists and we are willing to do it, right? Especially early in careers, whenever it is that we are making the work. There's two things. One, there's a miseducation that happens that you just have in your body, especially those of us at the global majority, right? Especially us. Oh, it just happens. You just show up and you dance. Like your parents taught you this, you grew up with it. I'm speculating, but yeah, there's that. That's part of it. Other thing is, we deserve to have. We talked about this yesterday with Caroline Chang from the Music Center. We deserve to have a living, reasonable wage, right? Living in LA, New York, wherever we are. We deserve that. Of course, everybody does, yeah? And so we get duped into or taken advantage of, I think, a lot. That you should do this for exposure. You should, we've all heard that. Literally not. You should do it for this, or you should do it for a very small sum of money, right? And then the network building that we're doing here, that all these coalitions, like that's so important. And asking, then being able to see these faces over and over again, right? And ask for what you need. I need space. Let me call the Y down the street, or this community center, or the music center, and be like, hey, listen, we need money. What are you doing? We need space and money. Like, what are you doing for us, the artists that are making work in our town, right? So I hear that. I'm just wondering more also from any of us. Even more about, has that come up for you? Living in LA, maybe a little more, I don't know, about the scarcity and the competition. Do you feel that ever in your work? And do you have any thoughts on the solutions about building communities so that we can support each other and show up for each other more? Do you ever feel like I'm the only one, so I have to compete against this same person that shows up to auditions and now I hate them? Or what's the, you know what I mean? Like, how do we grapple with that?
Like when I see like Korean, I'm just like, let's be friends.
Yeah.
More than like, okay, I have to be the only Korean.
I love that.
I don't know, maybe I'm so like weak. I want to rely. I want to be friends with them and just push through together.
We need more of that.
Yeah, but I've been like in the situation where like the competition happened, and not a good answer. I just avoided it. I try not to like let that happen to my work or let that like vibe affect me. Okay. Because once it starts getting in your head, like your work maybe like it can jeopardize my work. I think because the purpose shouldn't be like competition, like to win that person.
Right.
I think I just try to be like this and okay, let's just keep going my way, but like let's not that competition like influence me in like any way. And also like it's also like maturity thing. Like I'm like over 30 and I'm not like I think it's like a little bit immature to like instead of like helping or like becoming friends or finding a community together, like okay, like I have to do only one. I think that's a little bit immature thinking.
One thing with that is, yes, definitely about growing up and thinking in future. I'm talking more about the systemic issues that exist that cause that scarcity. The scarcity myth is something that like we made up, right? Right. So I'm just wondering about that, and sort of raging against that machine. And I love what you're saying about like not letting it affect the work, but it can be difficult.
In that sense, I've noticed where like they force me like a little bit like Asian, like to be Asian. I'm Asian, but like to present my work, it has to be like. Of course, what I do is related to my culture or my struggle here as a like international person, but sometimes my ideas are not always about my culture or my identity. It can be just like this imaginary world in my head, like imagination. But I feel like I have to, when it's not the right time for it, but still I need a space. I need like people to work with. So I try to like. But I try to like fit, like be more Asian than I am to fit like in the category. I'm in the category, but also like a lot of times I don't fake.
Yeah.
I don't fake, but sometimes I think I should always think as Asian. I always should think as like from my culture, from my traditional like. I appreciate it, but sometimes it's not about that. But always, some occasions they expect me to be like only that.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I have to be like so. Then there are like they're quite like big Asian community I think here. So that's why like the system like they don't want to. Sometimes I feel like they don't want to support us unless we're like Asian, unless we don't like talk about this.
Sure.
Yeah. In that sense, I feel like that kind of like sense competition. Okay, how can I be more Asian than that person so that I can get this grant?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Like this job.
Yeah. Because like you mentioned, like website, do they have Asian like innovation? Like do they have like enough diversity?
right.
Yeah, so I feel like they want to hire me because
You put your headshot on the website instead of, right? And then you don't always want to dance about that, but you can when you want to. Yeah, and that's really difficult. More on that please.
I think in terms of competition, sometimes it's a love and hate relationship to it because sometimes you feel very frustrated when you feel okay. Actually, I have really great idea why you didn't choose me, but sometimes it makes me to think like to deep what is inside of me deeper, like how you can explore this idea deeply, like to also to think more like what is important to you, why you have to create this work this time, why you have to have this voice out aloud. So I think that's sometimes maybe we can turn it into the good side, like just to deep yourself deeply.
Yeah, I love that. Why is it important for you to make this work?
Why you have to see it.
And why right now?
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. Like reframing that narrative and maybe having that conversation like we're doing right now. With each other.
We've got another question in the chat, switching gears pretty completely. Do you all have any creative outlets separate from movement?
Ooh.
Really, there's a lot of things. I don't know. Whatever piques my interest in the moment. Like I was like painting skateboards, which I did with my younger sister for a minute. I do a lot of stuff with music. Yeah. So I'll do like soundscape stuff and editing a lot of music for like my friends and their pieces and their works and other things for dance.
All the choreographers right now are like, note to self. We're gonna commission a work from Paul.
I like making props. Like a little while ago, I was making like a bunch of shit out of cardboard.
Cool.
Yeah, just out of cardboard box. Like I made like a door and then like a fake TV, and like a small house.
Anyone else? Any other creative outlets?
I think one creative outlet is I watch a lot of dance, so then it's kind of like I have a sense of what is happening, what is out there right now, and I use that as inspiration. Or if I'm not seeing something that I want to see, then that'll be my inspiration. Like, oh, I think I see the way someone did this. I like it this way, or I need more of this, or picking from that. Or as we were in rehearsals, I'm very good at like imagery, so I play around with like just like images. So like one was like traffic, like LA traffic. So I was inspired by LA traffic.
I don't know why it's moving. You said that.
It should just.
I'm like, don't you need this?
I brought my New York in there. Yeah, we still brought my New York driving skills. No, but like, yeah. So like, just like imagery that I see. Even like, you guys can't see it here, but on our first day, I was playing with the shadows of the light in the windows. So kind of imagery and just things that I want to see, or pictures that I would like to make, or shapes that I would like to make. That's kind of, or just how I'm feeling that day, because we always feel different.
Yeah.
Like, oof, my stomach hurts today. Oh, my right arm hurts today. Or what did I do? I slept funny with my neck. Like, maybe use that as inspiration. I don't know.
For me, I always find the inspiration from different movies, like to really observe their structure, because they're really good storyteller, and also we are. And also another thing, maybe it's kind of weird, I love to put my headphone here and play my favorite music and walk in the crowd. Like
Specifically crowds?
Yeah, crowd.
You'll seek out crowd and you'll.
Yeah.
Really? Wait, I love
Look,
this.
sometimes it's just in the park, and everybody like just walk, and I just
And you play the
walk with different speed in between them, and sometimes you can find something.
Oh, that's so filmic too. Go to shoot that.
It reminds me, we used to do a thing where you'd follow someone about 15 feet behind and try to walk the way they walk. And it's fascinating, like, having to get your body to do something that feels so unnatural.
Yes.
But just walk like someone who doesn't walk anything like you. It's kind of inspiring sometimes.
Yeah, because you can feel different energy between. Yeah.
Wait, I love that. I love that it's like, it could be anything that you're listening to.
Yeah.
That's great. I thought someone was gonna be like, I don't have time to do anything else, because all I do is dance. No. But seriously, as we're wrapping up, if there's some more questions in the chat, I'll wrap up with this kind of idea. Throughout the residency, what have been some of your biggest takeaways? What are things that you anticipate taking with you into your creative practice moving forward? And the second part of that is the works that you're making. We've only had a couple weeks yet, not even fully. Do you anticipate continuing to grow these collaborations, or use it as fodder for a larger piece down the road, as something that you can continue to play with, to apply for funding or take into a different space? Joe, start with you.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway is like people, I guess, like Blue13, Achinta, like JP.
Annika is off camera.
Yeah, just like me, and also like my cohort. cohort and then also the dancers I met. I think that's my biggest takeaway. And also like since we already like fighting with the scarcity of space and funding, and we already like had the luxury to have like all of that to create our babies. I definitely am interested in like taking it for the bigger project if all wants to.
No, that's right.
Yeah, because like
How badly that would have gone and was like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really adore what we have. I don't want to trash that away. I definitely want to like expand more with explore more with that if we have opportunity, or like take inspiration from this and then putting it into my other work. Yeah, but yeah, definitely I still want to like keep working on it. I think there are some quite good moments in that case. I think that I can like be more developed. Yeah.
anything else to add, Paul? And we'll jump to for our last two.
No, she got it.
For yourself, just through the residency, takeaways that you might take into your creative practice.
It's like, no, she pretty much got nailed it, to be honest. Like, I think that's pretty much what I meant when I meant I'm here to hang out. Like, I find more recently that it's about, I have the most fun with people. It's about the people and then making the things. Yeah, it's not like making, like, sometimes it is, like, I have to make this thing, I got 100 people for it.
Yeah.
And I find the most fun, it's like, for myself personally, it's like, when you meet the people, it's awesome. The hang is awesome, and then you make things.
In the process.
Yeah, when it comes in, it feels more like natural.
Thank you, Paul. See?
I think for me, the first thing is I really want myself dive in the environment immersively. I really want to just enjoy every moment happen here. And also, if we have chance, I still want to expand this work more because I think we have a lot of good potential in different parts because we have group and trios and duet and maybe developing the night blends piece.
Yeah. Evening like work.
See you once 3 hours.
Thank you.
No, it's duration. Duration.
3 hours.
No, it's
No intermission.
Jared, would you wrap it up?
Yes, I had a blast. Just taking, even from the first couple of days, taking little things from each person and learning from the dancers and just creating something that's meaningful, and also the piece that we create it's like was really site specific and specific to this time because as I was saying, it's different. You feel different every day, and let's say one dancer was switched out, but that's a different energy because there's no one like that person. Everyone is so unique that it's really cool to have this. Like even like the two performances, the piece will be very different between the two performances, even though it's the same choreography, just because how you're feeling that day, what kind of energy is created. So it's like a live work. So just having this moment in this time with these people and cherishing that moment is really special. And also just having something, because a lot of things are asked, oh, do you have reels?
Right.
So
Do you
like
have reels?
reels. Do you have excerpts of pieces?
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of it's hard to do that, whereas you just have little clips and it's like rehearsal. But even just having that, taking that away to have for you guys, for us, to just appreciate and have that substance and then share it with the world that who couldn't be here live and just having fun and hanging out, as Paul says.
Thank you so much, Jared. Thank you, all of you. And there is something, you really speak my language there. And we all know that as dancers, just the ephemeral nature of it. Like, it is never going to be the same. There's like that sorrow of what we do that we'll never ever get back at one moment in time. And the people in the room that are observing or participating are just as important as the dancers, as the makers, right? So you all four have also your own special alchemy that sort of come out of this to make this such a special years. So I really appreciate all of you being so generous with your bodies and thoughts and time and being so brave and speaking up. And thank you, dancers, for being here. Thank you, John Paul. And thank you to all our wonderful community members out there. And thank you, Annika, who's running our YouTube today. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, of course. Thank y'all. And we'll see you on Friday and Saturday of this week, unless you're watching this 2 weeks from now, and then you have to go back in time. Bye, everyone.